This is going to be an incredible year for fruit trees. And let me tell you, but if you do a couple things, let me tell you why. So, fruit trees in general, one year they have a just blockbuster. I mean, just unbelievable fruit, huge, more of them. They're breaking branches. They've got so much fruit. The following year, after a year like that, they take a break. You'll have some fruit, won't be nearly as much. These trees, they use all their energy to produce this fruit. Unless you're thinning them or pruning or some separate kind of special techniques, this is kind of one year it's big, the next year for backyard gardeners, next year it's a little off. Last year, fruit trees could not fruit. There was a frost in April that kind of took out, actually, it killed some trees. It was this freakish, everything was in bloom, setting fruit. And then freakish storm that it went to, I think it was, I don't know, like 14 degrees in my house. They were not used to that in April. That just doesn't happen. So it took the fruit. The trees were fine, they grew, but they just didn't produce fruit. So last year was a rest year. And so what that does, it tees the trees up. So they are ready. I mean, all that root growth, they didn't spend any energy producing fruit. All that energy went into roots. So now it's got a larger base underneath them. So they are going to produce like crazy this year. It's going to be a block, but I'm excited about it. Now, that being said, we've had more moisture than we've seen in years. And so you're going to need to fertilize more this year, especially if it's a large fruit production year. The reason is all this moisture we've had this winter has flushed out the nutrients that was naturally occurring underneath in the soil. That's all washed away. The plants are going to be left with not very much nutrient value left in the soil. Now, they stored some things up last fall, so that's good. So they're going to flush out no matter what. It's once they set that initial set of leaves, initial set of flowers, setting some fruit, does it have enough energy? Does it have enough nutrients left in that soil to uptake and keep it going? I predict, or I'm sure, if you don't fertilize this spring, so if you fertilized last fall, it used that food. Now it's been flushed out. Now it's going to take that from the fall. It's going to flush out new growth, and now it's going to reach out into the surrounding soil to pick up more food. If you don't replenish that, you'll get this great flush of growth. You'll go, oh, I am such a gardener. And then things will start to have small leaves. The fruits won't form as large or as many, or they'll be kind of yellow. You get this yellow tinge, especially as you get towards the middle to the end of June. You'll get this chlorosis look to it. If you fertilize now, I can't emphasize enough, fertilize everything in the yard because we've had so much moisture that your evergreens will turn off. They'll get this off kind of green to gray color instead of this blue silver color. You won't get as much growth on your red tip photinias, on your euonymus things. The lilacs, once they flower, because they're using the food from last fall to produce flowers this spring, but when they're done, you can kiss off flowers for next year unless you fertilize. There's not enough nutrients left in the soil because of all the moisture we've had. This is especially important for fruit trees or anything that fruits. That takes a lot of energy to produce large flowers or large fruits on a plant. So take advantage of the moisture, the rain that we've had, but don't assume that, oh, they're healthy, they're going to be good. The rain is good. The rain is good to a point, unless it flushes out all the nutrients, especially if you've covered your yard in rock, some of these other factors. You're just trust me, you're going to replenish that. It's going to be a good weed year. Already we're seeing weeds like crazy. Oh, put that weed and grass stopper down, or you're going to be a slave, absolute slave to weeding this year. You're going to pull it back out. Just getting the horehound is going to be the size of up to hip high with a root that goes down to China. You'll need a chainsaw to cut these things down. Take advantage. Be upfront with these things. Be proactive, and you've got some opportunity. The gardens are waking up. So the first first flowering trees opened this week at the garden center here in Prescott. They're in full bloom ornamental pears. The purple leaf plums are right behind them. So they're there. The buds are huge. There's no way to hold them back. It is spring. They want to be in bloom. The snow and weather, it doesn't matter. They're going to go for it. And so take advantage of that season where you can fertilize, prepare the stage for better fruits, better leaf growth on your shade trees, better green growth on your conifers, and then take advantage of the weeds. Don't let them get ahead of you. Use the weed and grass stoppers that prevents the seed from actually forming. So that's some insider tips. There's lots of inspiring plants. I know the weather's kind of dicey this time of year, but if you want to be inspired, you're tired of being indoors, you're not sure what to plant, come by the garden center. We'll show you some things that you can plant now that'll like the weather.